Yikes. That's all you can say after yesterday's 15-5 loss to the Hyannis Harbor Hawks. That was a 9-inning affair. Orleans now trying to get back on track in 14 innings of baseball today against the Chatham Anglers. A doubleheader, the first of the season for the Firebirds. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Scorching Start on the Birds Broadcast Network. Ian Nicholas, Dylan Pescatore here from Eldredge Park. And Dylan, yesterday's a game you just want to flush, but if we want to revisit it for just a moment, what went wrong for Orleans?
Yeah, the pitching wasn't up to par, and it was 15 runs allowed, not a lot of strikes thrown, and a lot of hard balls put in play by Hyannis. Doubles, a home run as well by Zach York. You can't win when you have pitching like that. The Firebirds now have 14 innings to cover today by their starters and their bullpen. We'll see if they can do it better today.
Yeah, Evan Truitt gets his start for Game 1. Grayson Carter gets his start for Game 2. But still revisiting yesterday's loss to Hyannis, one of the lone bright spots, Joe Oyama, another double hit game. 2 hits for Joe Oyama, including a triple in that first inning. And if Orleans wants to get back on track tonight, Oyama needs to be good. Who else needs to be good?
Oyama had a great game yesterday to start off the game with the triple to get the Firebirds on the board early. I think another name that really could have a big day today is Eddie King Jr. He's back in the lineup after a few days off. Brings a lot of speed and also has really started to find his swing as well. Doubles, he can even hit triples with the speed that he has, and also has launched a few balls over the fence. I look at Eddie King today as my pick to click.
Eddie King is the pick to click. Orleans offense clicked late in the game yesterday, albeit down double-digit runs, but Sammy Miller tells us how that could kind of translate towards the future.
Anytime a team has a blowout loss, the easiest thing to do is focus solely on the negatives and get super down about yourself. Well, for the Firebirds, they preach doing the opposite. For them, they wanted to flush out the loss as soon as they could and also focus on the positive takeaways, being their run in the end of the 9th inning. They were able to post 3 runs, highlighted by Owen Carpelotti's huge home run, his first of the summer. And that's the thing with the Firebirds, is they never give up no matter the deficit. Yes, they were down by a lot, but they wanted to focus on trying to gain as much momentum heading into today's huge doubleheader against the Chatham Anglers. So it'll definitely be interesting to see if the momentum is able to carry over not only into Game 1 of today, but into Game 2. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. Still here on the Scorching Start. The Birds and the Anglers get started at 3 o'clock for Game 1 of a doubleheader between these two teams. Matchups number 2 and 3 on the season. Who made their first appearance as a Firebird last night? Colton Sunloff out of Oklahoma, transferring to U of San Diego, and Ian Nicholas is with him right now.
Yes, Dylan, I'm joined by somebody headed back out to the West Coast at the University of San Diego, and Colton Sunloff. Colton, it's your second year here on the East Coast in the Cape. How does it feel to be back in the CCBL?
It's great. The people out here are amazing. It's a beautiful place. Cape Cod it's the dream, so I'm just living it. It's awesome for sure.
How was last year with Brewster, and what do you think is the best part of being a part of a league that's known so well across the country?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Brewster was great. I played there last summer, going off my freshman year. Was at the University of Oklahoma last year. And Orleans is something special. So the clubhouse we have here, the coaches, I'm getting along with everybody, so it's been fun. It's a blessing for sure.
So unfortunately, your debut didn't necessarily come in a special game yesterday, a game that probably the whole team wants to flush. But what do you think was the best part of your debut yesterday?
It was great. Did well. My slider felt really good. And the pitch calling was great. Skip does a really good job of letting the catchers kind of take over the pitch calling. So it was really good. So I appreciate the opportunity, and it's been fun.
What's the relationship you built so far with those two guys, Owen Carpelotti and Henry Hunter? They've been here since day one, the only two catchers on the team.
I mean, the one word I can use to describe both of them is they grind. They're out here grinding every day, and they're having fun with it at the same time. So they'll work for you, and they're here to make you better too. So it's special for sure.
So somebody you've already built a bit of a special bond with is Ivan Romero, who's going to be your new teammate at the University of San Diego. Your first 2 years at Oklahoma. What kind of guy is this? I mean, this is a cool dude, second year out here, Cape League All-Star last year.
He is. He's a really good. I like how he goes about his business. He's a really chillaxed, laid-back guy that really goes about his business well and works hard. So I'm excited to be teammates with him come college ball, and out here to build a relationship with him. It's really fun. It's nice. So
chillax. I think that's the first time I've heard that all summer. I guess that's the vibe out in San Diego.
It is, and out here on the Cape for sure. It's chillax and it's get after it at the same time. So it's nice for sure.
What's it like in Utah? Because you come from a state where I guess baseball isn't necessarily known, but you were a great high school player. What would you describe growing up in Utah and now coming out to the East Coast, but also going back to the West Coast this year at San Diego?
For sure. Utah, it's different. There's a lot more mountains. You don't really see many mountains out here, but mountains are really cool. Cold winters and really warm summers, but Yeah, baseball, it's fun in Utah. It's kind of just something different. It's hard to explain, but definitely coming from Utah, a small town, coming out here and playing in front of crowds that are, I mean, we had like 1,000 fans out here yesterday. It's really cool to play in front of a home crowd like that. So it's different for sure.
You a big skier?
Snowboarder, yeah.
Okay.
Snowboarder growing up.
What's more difficult?
I think snowboarding's definitely harder to learn, but easier to get really good at, and skiing's probably easier to learn but harder to get really good at. Is kind of what they say.
And I'm not good at either. I've tried skiing. I fell down a mountain like 50 times.
Okay.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
What are you most excited about with the rest of the season, joining a team late in the year?
Just developing, just getting all my pitches to continue to do what they've been doing, and just learning from Skip. He's a really resentable guy, and everybody works hard. So it's really just developing and getting to where I want to be for sure.
Colton Sundloff, he was where he wanted to be last night. Unfortunately, a loss. You'll see him a little bit as the season goes on. Colton, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. Yep. Thank you.
Dylan, back to you.
The Firebirds had their 3-game win streak snapped yesterday. They look to start a new one today with 2 games against Chatham. First pitch of Game 1 is at 3 o'clock, so stick around here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Go Birds!
I'm going to go to third base, make sure the camera's level, but I'll be back up here.
Go down, kid.
Just a reminder, folks, this is game 1 of 2. These are both 7-inning games.
Happy Truitt Day. Can you hear me?
Baseball in the afternoon, 3:27 from Eldredge Park is the time, because today it's time for a doubleheader. Orleans was already scheduled to play Chatham here from Eldredge Park, but game 1 of this doubleheader, a makeup of the July 4th rainout at the beginning of the month. It's the second Friday this month that Orleans is going to be playing a doubleheader against Chatham. Next Friday at Veterans Park, a 2-game set against the A's as well. Dylan on the mound tonight for Orleans. Evan Truitt, he makes start number 5 of the summer, and he has been really good.
He's been the most reliable starting pitcher for the Firebirds this season. Start in, start out, he's been really good. He's going to give you a good 3 to 4 innings. At times can go upwards to 5 as well. Not going to blow it past you, sitting at 92, 93, but has a really good 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball, changeup, and a slider. So 4-pitch mix on Truitt, and he's looked pretty good over his last 3. What's the key to his success? He's limited the walks.
His last start came 6 days ago at Wareham, a 5-4 loss for Orleans. Truitt pitched 4 1/3, giving up 3 earned off 5 hits with 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. The defense around him includes Henry Hunter behind the dish, Matt Hallback, the All-Star at first, another All-Star Joe Oyama at second, a 3rd straight All-Star Jack Penny at 3rd, Justin Rubin at short, Eddie Micheletti in left, Jake Casey in center, and Eddie King in right. Leading off for the A's is the second baseman from USC, Bryce Martin Grudzelanek. It's a mouthful for sure. First pitch swung on. Grunzelanek sends it deep to right. Eddie King underneath it at the track. Martin Grunzelanek retired on just one pitch. Pretty good start for Evan Truitt, the rising junior from Charleston Southern.
Puts the ball in the strike zone, and that's what Truitt's going to do. He's going to throw strikes. Now, this is an interesting situation. You have 2 7-inning games today. The starting pitcher for the Firebirds today, Evan Truitt in Game 1, Grayson Carter in Game 2. If they can get to 4 innings and maybe even get him a few extra outs after that, they'll set up their bullpen in a great, great place.
Lots of pitching was used last night for Orleans in a 15-5 loss here from Eldredge to the Hyannis Harborhawks, including a couple position players who pitched in the later stages of the game. Let's hope it doesn't get too ugly here in the doubleheader. Ground ball from Caden Kent, the All-Star, sends it towards a fellow All-Star, Matt Hallback. He steps on first, and on just 3 pitches, 2 outs already for the Maryland native and Evan Truitt.
That's what Truitt has to do. Continue to load up the strike zone, get balls on the ground, weak contact. The more efficient he can be, the more he can really start to show off his stuff.
Trying to show off his stuff against the third man of the order for Chatham, the right fielder, Tyler Wolfert, who takes a strike, 0-1. Calling the balls and strikes for Game 1, Joe LaBella. Chris Scott at first and Mike Sadowski at third. That's the ump crew. Truitt's 0-1. Swung on and missed. 0-2. Wolfert quickly falls behind. Just finished up his junior season at Oklahoma State. Lots of Oklahoma State in the starting lineup for the Chatham A's. The 0-2. This is high 1-2. That's because the former manager of Chatham, Tom Holliday, who left the team just about a week and a half ago due to health reasons, a longtime coach with the Cowboys. Marty Lee's the acting manager. The 1-2 swung on and fouled away.
Truitt's such an interesting cat. Even up 0-2, 1-2 in the count. He's going to go right after you. He just tried to catch Wolfert looking on a high slider that started on the inside of the plate and cut right back in front.
A ground ball to the shortstop, Justin Rubin. His first game in 4 days, doesn't show any rust. Slings it over to Matt Hallback, and it's a 1-2-3 frame for, as you called him, the interesting cat, Evan Truitt. Not a very interesting top of the first. It stays scoreless. We go to the bottom of the frame here on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Safety announcement. No matter how tempting it is, do not cross Route 28 for foul balls. This is a busy state highway. It's private property on the other side of the road, and the drivers are paying more attention to the game lights and scoreboards than if there's somebody in front of them in the road. Nobody, child or adult, should cross Route 28 for foul balls for any reason. You may think that you can do it safely, but the child who's watching you do it, whose parents aren't keeping tabs.
Broadcast Network in the bottom of the first. Thanks so much for joining us for the first leg of our doubleheader today. Me and Nicholas Dill and Pescatore on the call. Lineup tonight for Orleans in Game 1 includes Joe Oyama leading off at second, Justin Rubin batting second at short, Jack Penny batting third. Playing at third, Matt Hallback bats cleanup. Playing at first, Eddie Micheletti is batting fifth. He's in left field. Brandon Stallman bats sixth. He's the DH. Henry Hunter, the catcher, bats seventh. Eddie King Jr. batting eighth for right fielder. And rounding out the order for 18th year manager Kelly Nicholson is the center fielder, Jay Casey. Dylan, what do you like about the lineup tonight?
I like that in both lineups today, every position player is going to be used. I think a key wild card for the Firebirds is their bottom three in the order today. Henry Hunter, who's gotten hot with the bat as of late, and Eddie King Jr., who's back from a little migraine yesterday. We'll see how he can do and bring his speed and impact to the Firebirds, because he's been really good over the last week.
Justin Rubin also back in the lineup for the first time in 4 days. He's been battling a little bit of nagging injuries here and there, but the Pepperdine transfer giving it a go. He's set to start in each of the 2 games tonight. Starting for Game 1 for Chatham is a lanky 6'9", 220-pound Gabe Davis. And by the way, I asked the Chatham media team, is he a legit 6'9"? He is. from, you guessed it, Oklahoma State. Another Cowboy. Just finished up his freshman year there. An Oklahoma native, too.
Like you said, a big righty for Chatham. Saying what the Firebirds have to do, Chatham's struggles this year have been based around their pitching. They cannot keep the ball in the ballpark. They cannot keep the ball in the infield. The Firebirds have to strike early. They have to strike often against a Chatham team that's been down in the dumps.
Well, you're not wrong. 9-22 on the year are the A's. They sit 5th in the East Division. Orleans, meanwhile, 2nd with a 16-15 record. The all-star second baseman Joe Oyama leads off. Another productive night for the rising senior from UC Irvine yesterday. 2 extra base hits, including a leadoff triple in the first. In fact, he set the Orleans Firebirds single-season record for triples already with a third of the season still to go. Whacks this one the opposite way. It gets down for a hit. Not an extra base hit, but Joe Oyama on just the second pitch with a leadoff single.
The shortstop from Pepperdine, number 23.
So interesting when we face different opposing teams. This time the left fielder, Schubert, usually would be playing more shallow. He wasn't. Oyama saw it and placed the ball right in front of him. A good start for the Birds.
That brings up the shortstop in Rubin. One of the few righties in the order tonight for Kelly Nicholson, who swings at the first pitch, pops it up to left center field. Zach McDonald and Nolan Schubert in on it, and it's corralled by McDonald in center for the first out. Rubin retired on just one pitch.
The third baseman from Notre Dame, number 11.
Rubin wanted to get going quickly. He's been out of the lineup. He wanted to feel the bat on the ball early in the at-bat. I think the Firebirds need to be a little bit more disciplined, have to continue to work good at-bats. This is against the guy in Gabe Davis who does not walk a lot of people.
Only 4 walks and just under 12 innings pitched this summer. Now deals to Jack Penny, who also swings at the first pitch. Oyama slides in the second, as that is caught at the wall, and Oyama retreats to first base. Penny flies out to left. It's corralled by Schubert. A quick 2 outs from Orleans. Both Rubin and Penny go down on flyouts after just one offering.
Usually I would make a joke that these batters have dinner reservations, but they got another game coming up after this, so not much will be open after game 2. But a good swing by Jack Penny, a hit and run. Just couldn't get more of a line drive on it. Got a little bit under the ball. Put good wood on it, but caught by Schubert.
Here's the all-star first baseman, Matt Hallback. The Lost Dog Pub in Orleans, always a good option. Open till midnight for a post-game snack. It's a good option for being the only option. Went with the Wingdings last night. Buffalo.
Not a bad choice. I went classic with the red pizza.
Throwing it in the way of Joe Oyama. Also Red Friday. Red Jersey Friday here from Eldredge. Representing the armed forces. The Birds in their camo vest jerseys with the red undershirts. Matt Hallback hitting just over .310 on the summer. Fouls a pitch off to right, including 2 hits last night.
The big righty has been a real cog in this lineup for the Firebirds. He's been there every single day. He's been providing, mostly going to the opposite field and having a lot of success there.
Oyama takes a large lead after another foul ball from Hallback. He goes behind. Gabe Davis trying to bounce back after a tough outing on the 15th at Falmouth, a 10-6 loss for the A's, in which in just 2 2/3 innings, the Oklahoma native surrendered 6 earned off 6 hits and walked 3. Before that, he had only just 2 earned runs against him in just under 10 innings of work. A good start to the summer. Trying to finish this inning strong. They had 1 and 2. Runner goes for second. Joe Oyama slides in, and it gets away from Derek Fabian, the shortstop, and Oyama's worked his way around the horn. Joe Oyama steals a bag, his 5th of the summer, and then an errant throw from the catcher, Jaden Melendez, works his way 90 feet away from home plate.
That's what speed does. It creates confusion on defense, as Oyama was not going to get caught on the stolen base. And then the shortstop, Fabian, couldn't dive to keep that ball in front. The throw is too much to the right of second base.
So all of a sudden, with 2 strikes and 2 out, Matt Hallback a chance to drive in a run. And he's hit by a pitch.
Every time.
So he's not really given the opportunity. Matt Hallback, top 10 in the league for being hit by pitches. It's a trend that continues here in the first leg of our doubleheader.
After 2 quick outs, now the Firebirds are really starting to drag out at bats. A good one by Hallback, and here's a guy who could really use a big hit.
Eddie Micheletti, he's been hitting in between 220 and 250 since late June. Always has good at bats. A strikeout rate under 10% on the summer. A lefty to face variety in Gabe Davis. First pitch strike, 0-1.
Talked about Hallback being top 10 hit by pitches. Officially, that is number 7 on the summer for Hallback.
One of his stats Orleans leads the league in. Not something necessarily you can work on. Micheletti puts one through the 4-3 hole and into the outfield, and the Birds strike first. Joe Oyama scores on a 2-out RBI single from Eddie Micheletti. 1-0 Orleans, doing damage with 2 away.
Hitter from UNC Charlotte, number 8, Brandon Stallman.
That whole play is set up by the Oyama steal. He moves over to third. It puts more pressure on Gabe Davis, the pitcher. He hits Hallback, and then Eddie Micheletti does what he does best, finds holes in the defense, puts it into right field. Good start for the Firebirds. They needed to get a strong start to get on the board early, and they do just that.
Micheletti is 12th run driven in on the summer, and with just 2 outs recorded here in the first, acting Chatham manager Marty Lees having a long conversation with the pitcher Gabe Davis. Dylan, what do you think those words are?
It's a little bit odd. It's very early in the game, and that was a longer mound visit than usual, especially for a manager that's not taking out his pitcher. Maybe a reset for his team to tell him to really wake up. I know it's an earlier start time than usual, but he definitely was not happy with what's going on so far in the first.
Davis, 11 pitches, 7 of them for strikes. Just under a 6 ERA headed into this start. 2 on, 2 out. And here's Brandon Stallman, one of the more recent additions of the Firebirds. He gets ahead 1-0. Just finished up his junior season at UNC Charlotte, DHing tonight. Pitched a little bit last night in the blowout against Hyannis. Ground ball right towards second, fielded by Martin Grudzelanek. He throws to first, gets the out, and leaves 2 base runners stranded for Orleans. But the Birds take the early lead 1-0 against Gabe Davis. Eddie Micheletti puts one through the hole and in the right. Joe Oyama scores after stealing a base. Big error also helping the Firebirds to take the lead after 1. We'll go to the top of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network.
Is available at the home plate shop and at the tables around the park, as well as at many locations throughout Orleans and East End. This year's yearbook has many new features, including an interview with Chicago Cubs player and Cape Cod Baseball League Hall of Famer Marcus Stroman, who pitched for the Firebirds in 2010 and 2011, and a story about Drew Spencer, who's the head coach of the Great Britain national team and played for Orleans in 1994 and 95. Check out the biographies of our players, coaches, and interns, as well as the most comprehensive statistics of the Cape League and the Orleans Firebirds. Please pick up your complimentary copy of the 2023 Orleans Firebirds Yearbook, and remember, it's free because of the generous advertisers that you'll see throughout the book.
Evan Truitt right in the middle of your screen. Now pitching with some run support. Orleans leads 1-0 here in the top of the second after an Eddie Micheletti RBI single that scored Joe Oyama in the bottom of the first. Evan Truitt super efficient in that first inning, Dylan. He went 1, 2, 3 on just 8 pitches, 7 of them strikes.
He was getting ground outs, and now he's got a run to work with. He's got to continue to throw strikes, keep the ball low in the zone, and let his defense work. That's when Truitt's at his best.
4, 5, and 6 due up for Chatham. It starts with one of the A's best, the All-Star. Starting in left field tonight, Nolan Schubert, the rising sophomore from Oklahoma State. Falls behind an account 0-2. Hitting just under .230 on the summer for the A's, with a team-high 6 doubles, 2 homers, and 14 runs driven in. 0-2 is shot the opposite way to left. Moving towards his right, Eddie Micheletti makes the snag and chucks it back in. 4 straight outs recorded by Evan Truitt to start this game, including a couple flyouts.
Third baseman from Hawaii, number 10, Kyson Donahue.
Truitt, this is a pitcher's, where they make their money, right? You had a run scored by your offense. Now you got to come back and throw a shutdown inning up. You want to throw a 0 up to get your offense back up with already a run in.
Chatham has had issues scoring runs all season long, the second lowest scoring offense in the league. Miss upstairs from Truitt, 1-0. To Kyson Donahue, the third baseman from Hawaii. Just finished up his redshirt junior season. The 1-0. Inside, and it misses 2.
It's inside.
Donahue, originally from Honolulu, but spent the first 3 years of his collegiate career at Arizona, but has spent the last 2 years with the Rainbow Warriors. 2-1.
Donahue and Matt Hallback faced against each other this year. Hawaii and UC San Diego in the Big West.
Talk about really going out west with Hawaii. Dylan, you ever been?
Never been to Hawaii. I would never go.
Why?
Too far for me.
How does that make any sense?
Well, it's more of my fear of flying.
You're right. Okay. I respect it. Launch to right field. That drops in front of Eddie King Jr. for a 1-out single. First base runner of the night for Chatham. Kyson Donahue extends his hit streak to 4 games in a row.
That's a nice lefty swing, and he took a changeup in the bottom of the zone, lined it into right. Good contact and first base runner for Chatham. Now how can Truitt respond?
Has to respond against the center fielder and a righty in Zach McDonald. Fouled away. Truitt's had a solid 2 seasons collegiately at Charleston Southern, a smaller school, but he's lived up to expectations and then some here on the Cape. Was voted as Charleston Southern's best pitcher in the spring at a 4.61 ERA in 15 appearances, 11 of them out of a bullpen. Pitched just over 68 innings. It's a low miss with the fastball to even the count.
He'll have 1 more year at school before he's draft eligible. And Truitt has shown out this summer, like you said, Ian. He's shown that not only can he do it back at Charleston Southern, he can do it against some of the best here in the Cape.
Swing and a miss, 1-2. Truitt, before his sophomore season, was ranked by D1 Baseball as the second best prospect in the 2024 draft class in the entire Big South Conference, where Charleston Southern plays. So, small school, big-time stuff. Big-time curve there. Gets the strikeout of Zach McDonald. Strikeout number 1 on the day for Truitt, and out number 2 of the inning.
A great spot right there for the fastball in the outside corner to the righty. Truitt gives up the hit. He comes back. He gets out number 2 with the fastball. Truly has a batter-to-batter mindset.
The next batter is Aiden Miola with the golden locks flowing right below the blue helmet. The classic A for Chatham. Smack dab in the middle. He gets ahead 1-0. Runner on first is Kyson Donahue. He's single to right. First base runner and only base runner on the day for the A's.
Miola's really had a tough time in the last 3 days. 0 for 13. Struggling.
Did walk and lost a YD yesterday, but did go for 3 overall. 1-1 misses outside. Another Oklahoma State Cowboy. originally from Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Hitting just over 170 on the summer for Chatham, with a couple doubles and a couple RBIs. His second year here with Chatham. Played 4 games with the team last summer. The sun's come out to play from Eldredge. It's starting to get hot. Starting to regret my decision to wear the quarter zip today, the long sleeves.
It was not a bad decision initially, but now with this weather coming out, Ian, it's going to be a tough spot for you, but don't worry, you have to hydrate.
I have to hydrate. I got the water bottle. You're currently going to the water right now. 14 innings of baseball today. These guys got to hydrate too.
100%. A few of them are going to be playing both games. And if the sun wants to continue to play, these players who want to continue to play have to hydrate, water up.
Well, luckily they get a break tomorrow. Well, a good chunk of them do. It's the All-Star game in Harwich. The entire league obviously has the day off. Swing and a ball not hit, and a bat through the air, and a strikeout recorded. Striking out in emphatic fashion. Aiden Miola with a K and no bat as he heads back to the dugout. Back-to-back Ks to end the inning for Evan Truitt. 2 scoreless frames for the Charleston Southern Star. Stays 1-0 Orleans. We go to the bottom of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
Family-operated business that provides all natural mosquito and tick control service. Call 866-ASK-MARY or go to mosquitomarys.com. Enter the Cape Cod Baseball League and get your first treatment for only $29. Just like the athletes that make up a national championship or World Series winning team, Pocket Radar is focused on showing up as the best for the best. By adding new features like pitch tagging and slow motion video to make the data and video more textually meaningful and useful. Pocket Radar is committed to enabling your athletes, teams, and coaches with meaningful and useful data. Learn more at pocketradar.com.
Yep.
Bottom of the second on the Birds Broadcast Network. It's a beautiful Friday afternoon. In game 1 of our doubleheader. And so far, a good game for Orleans. 1-0 lead after an RBI single from Eddie Micheletti in the last inning. Gabe Davis back on the mound for his second inning of work. And he faces the bottom of the order for the Birds, starting with the catcher committed to play at Georgia after 2 years at Alabama Birmingham, Henry Hunter. Dylan, the average, not necessarily great for Hunter this season, but he's been a lot better over the last few weeks from the plate.
He has. Him and Owen Carpellotti, both of these catchers on the Firebirds. First month or so really wasn't theirs. They weren't having their way at the plate, but now both of them were kind of getting hot at the right time.
2 for his last 8, including a home run a week ago today against Bourne. A 2-run shot, which made the difference in a 2-run win. He readjusts the batting gloves. You can't see it, but also rocking a fresh cut underneath that black helmet. Did not get the hair trimmed by all-star pitcher for Orleans, Jonathan Gonzalez, who's known as the in-house barber. The 0-2 misses outside.
I'm also on his wait list, Jonathan Gonzalez's.
You've needed a haircut for a while.
What's that supposed to mean?
I was just saying what I see. There's a strikeout.
Bad start.
Bad start for me.
Bad start to the inning. Bad start for my ego.
I've been a little mean over the last few days. That's the first strikeout for Gabe Davis on the day. I'm sorry. Eddie King Jr., the 8th man in the order, takes a pitch for a strike on the outer half, 0-1. Just finished up his sophomore season at Louisville, originally by way of the Chicago suburbs. Quickly 0-2.
For a guy who's coming off a headache yesterday, it's never easy to come back, and now you got to face a tall righty like Gabe Davis.
Davis in 3 pitches Shows just how talented he is. Back-to-back Ks to start the inning against the bottom of the order for Orleans. Davis, he's got a lot of electricity in that right arm. He's got a slider that can play potentially at the major league level. And with his stuff thrown in the mid-90s, most likely it would be a back of the bullpen option. Jake Casey foul tips it. 0-1. Appeared in 22 games for Oklahoma State in the spring. Pitched 25 innings. Gave up 22 earned runs in those 25 innings pitched, but had 40 strikeouts. Swing and a miss. He quickly gets ahead 0-2.
And he's looked like a different pitcher here in the second.
After a shaky first inning, which saw him give up an unearned run. On the 0-2, he misses high. Joe Oyama reached on a leadoff single. Stole second and then moved to third on an error from the catcher. Jaden Melendez overthrew shortstop Derek Fabian, attempting to catch Oyama stealing, and then Oyama came home on a single from Eddie Micheletti. The 2-2 is fouled away.
Casey's at-bats have really gotten better in his last 3 starts. He's gotten a hit in each. A big game for him 2 days ago against Bourne at Durham Park. Had a double and scored the first run for the Firebirds. He's starting to find his power stroke back, and he's always had it, but now how does he get it on a consistent basis?
Just finished up a very good junior season, rather sophomore season at Kent State. 2-2 is fouled away once again. It's a good at-bat. Not letting Davis off the hook in this inning. Casey at .250 for the Golden Flashes, who won the MAC regular season championship with 7 doubles, 12 home runs, showing that power. A low miss and a full count.
This is a really good at-bat by Casey. Once down 0-2, now full.
Here's the payoff. Swing and a miss. Good at-bat, but it doesn't end in the great result for Casey. Instead, Davis strikes out the side. Hunter, King, and Casey go down in order with swinging strikeouts. It stays a 1-0 game. Orleans still in front. We go to the top of the third on the Birds Broadcast Network.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your Cat compact equipment. And this is the support from your local Cat dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
Or give us a call at 508-247-0395 and discover the beauty of Cape Cod where lifelong memories are made. Delmar Vacations and the Cape Cod Baseball League. Your ticket to an extraordinary...
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. Now, of course, this is a baseball team with some of the best baseball players in the entire country. But for most of these players, they grew up playing basketball at a very young age, one being Matt Hallback, growing up in California, and he claims to say that he can get it done in the paint with his boards and the points, and also he goes pretty deep behind the arc, so I, of course, had to ask him, okay, what would your starting 5 be? He said himself, Grayson Carter, Nate Ward, Joe Oyama, and Justin Rubin. So it seems like he's getting the big man in the paint with Grayson and Nate, and then he has the floor generals in Joe and Justin. So this game has to happen. Stay tuned, Firebird fans. Maybe we'll get a televised one soon. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Sammy. Who knows? Maybe they're playing the wrong sport. First pitch strike from Evan Truitt to the catcher Jaden Melendez, 0-1. That seems like a pretty sound lineup from Matt Hallback.
100%. And I think there's another, or huge candidates here.
Jaden Melendez plunked by a pitch off the left side of his back. The catcher takes a bag on Evan Truitt, as Truitt hands out his first free pass of the game.
A fastball that just got away from Truitt on the arm side. I mean, we're talking athletes. I think Jake Casey has to be in there. I think Eddie King has to be in there. And I think Jack Penny would be my top 3 of guys who weren't named by Matt Hallback, but I would take on my team any single day.
The only player on that list that actually has a proven track record in basketball, as a bottom man in the order, Derek Fabian takes the strike, is Grayson Carter. He scored over 1,000 points in basketball in high school. Pop up, right side of the outfield. Eddie King on the move, calling for the ball. No catch made by King. It dribbles towards the foul line. And sliding in the second is Derek Fabian. That would have been a really tough play for Eddie King to make. Joe Oyama was closer to it. King had a beat on it, but couldn't come away with the ball.
That's a mistake that the Firebirds cannot make against any team, no matter if it's Chatham or Truitt. That's Oyama's ball. It's shallow right field, right behind the infield dirt at first base. If Hallback can't backpedal and get it, that ball was up there for a good amount of time. Oyama's got to take charge. Eddie King had to come in a long way, and now Truitt is in a jam.
So that's officially an error on King. An error for both teams today. Back to the top of the order with Martin Grudzelanek, who flew out to right his first time up. The error in the first inning for Chatham came back to bite the A's as Joe Oyama came around the score. Evan Truitt with 2 on and nobody out, trying to keep it a 1-0 game in the Birds' favor. Now 2-0.
Truitt's first mistake of the day was the hit by pitch to lead off the inning. Gets a good result, a fly ball, but now he's got to deal with top of the order with 2 on and nobody out.
Martin Grudzelanek, one of the most recent additions to Chatham. He's been very good, hitting just under 350 on the year. Pops this pitch up to center field, shallow center. Jake Casey moving towards his left, tracks it down, makes the catch just above his head for an out. First out of the inning, and a much-needed one at that.
It's not an easy day with fly balls here at Eldredge, nor is it ever. The wind is blowing pretty heavily from left to right. It's going to be hard to track him down. I think that's what happened back behind first. The ball kept moving toward the foul line.
Eddie King couldn't track it down. That's why instead of a fly out for the bottom man in the order, Derek Fabian, he reached on an error, and Jaden Melendez, who was punked by a pitch, now in scoring position. Here's Caden Kent, who rips one foul down the right field side. 0-1. Kent grounded out to first back in the first inning. The All-Star hitting just under 330 on the summer. He's driven in 10 runs. Just finished up his freshman season at Texas A&M. Henry Hunter slides to keep that ball in front of him, and the count even.
It's such an interesting situation. The third inning of a 9-inning game is like the third inning or the fourth inning of a 7-inning game. If you're comparing, the tension heightens even though the game is still early.
Another low miss, 2-1. The tying run at second. The go-ahead run at first. Represented by Jaden Melendez and Derek Fabian respectively. Trying to keep it a 1-0 lead. On the ground, weakly hit towards Oyama at second. He fires to first, gets the out. The runners move up. Melendez to third, Fabian to second. But getting the outs that he needs is Evan Truitt. That was a productive out, though.
Productive, yes, and a great play by Oyama. He moves over on the shallow outfield grass in right field. Fields and throws off his back foot while he's running. To get the runner, Kent. Truitt's now 1 out away from getting out of this jam.
Can he get a second out on the day against Tyler Wolfert? Grounded out to short his first time up. Takes a strike. Just finished up his junior season at Oklahoma State. Originally from Farmington, New Mexico. Began his collegiate career at Midland Junior College. The 0-1. Launch towards right. Gets down in front of Eddie King for a base hit. Melendez scores. Fabian gets the call. Throw in front of home plate. Chatham takes the lead. A 2-run single for Tyler Wolfert gives the A's the 2-1 advantage in the top of the third.
A rally that wasn't even started with a hit by pitch, and then an error on Eddie King on a fly ball that no one called and no one caught. They get one hit by Wolfert, and now it's 2-1. Chatham's in front.
Wolfert, his 6th and 7th RBI of the summer. The errors for both teams today coming back to bite them, like they usually do. Nolan Schubert gets ahead 1-0. He flew out to left his first time up. Inning started with the hit by pitch of Melendez. Then the E9 from Eddie King allowed Derek Fabian to reach, and both of them come home on the 2-run single from Wolfert. Ball and a strike for Schubert. The All-Star trying to add on to the advantage. These two teams, East Division rivals, but they haven't seen a lot of each other this year, mostly because of Mother Nature. They played in the first week of the year, and Chatham took down Orleans 2-0 from Veterans Field. Launch to left, another hit. This one from the All-Star Schubert. Rounding second on his way to third, Tyler Wolfert. He slides in safe, and headed to second safely is Schubert with a 2-out double. Chatham continues to pull it on and has 2 in scoring position, already up a run.
Schubert with a good piece of hitting. Goes the other way. The Firebirds were playing him in the shift. And I think this is a good mound visit by Henry Hunter. He'll come out, try to give Truitt a little bit of a deep breath, give him a reset. The pitch count is climbing, and it really shouldn't have been, because this inning all started without a hit like we talked about. But now he has to get out of a jam. Already 2 runs in. He can't allow any more.
Facing Kyson Donahue, who had the first hit of this game. A single in the second inning. 2 back-to-back hits from Chatham in this frame. Trying to add on to this lead. Donahue takes a strike. Truitt just under 40 pitches. Trying to finish off his 3rd inning in his 5th start of the summer.
I think we should be done by the 12th, right?
The first leg of our doubleheader.
The 12th is?
Miss upstairs. 1-1. These two teams were supposed to play back-to-back games on the 4th and 5th of the month, but the game on the 4th was rained out. That's why we're here playing 2 games today. The game on the 5th got through just under 4 innings before fog called the game in Chatham. That will be made up next Friday. 1-1 misses low. Runners on second and third. Both of them reached on hits. Tyler Wolfert on the hot corner. He drove in a pair of runs, scoring both Jaden Melendez and Derek Fabian. And Schubert with a hit to left field off second base. 2-1 pitch. Fouled away. Truitt a strike away from getting out of a jam, limiting the damage. Donahue came into today just hitting over 220. One of the long-tenured members on the Chatham roster that's seen a lot of turnover this summer. Still 2-2.
It's funny because you say long-tenured. He's only got 45 at-bats. But when you look at the Firebirds position players, almost all of them have been here the entire summer. Upwards of 120 at-bats.
It's a group that's gotten very tight in a lineup that knows how to work with each other. Popped up, left field, foul territory. 2 players running for it. Eddie Micheletti calls for it and snags it over in left field. Micheletti helps strand 2 for Chatham. The runners on second and third, Tyler Wolfert and Nolan Schubert, stay along the base paths. But the lead flips in favor of the A's. A 2-run single from Tyler Wolfert puts Chatham ahead 2-1 as we go to the bottom of the 3rd on the Birds Broadcast Network.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover wwho you want to become.
Cape Cod Healthcare Urgent Care. Minor emergencies, major attention. Curry College is where you go to become anything you want. Curry prepares students to engage in successful careers with learning beyond the classroom. Explore undergraduate programs, NCAA Division III athletics, and continuing education and graduate studies. including fifth-year master's programs at curry.edu. Take me out to the ball game, but first take me out on the beach with Red Jacket Resorts. The Red Jacket Resort Collection is the official hotel of the Cape Cod Baseball League. With 5 waterfront hotels in Yarmouth, Red Jacket Resorts are perfect for family fun and sun before each and every game. Book your next Mid-Cape escape today at www.redjacketresorts.com.
Back to the top of the order for Orleans, trying to retake the lead in the bottom of the third. A 2-run single for Tyler Wolfert put the A's ahead last inning. Joe Oyama trying to reach for his second time this afternoon. He singled to get this game going, and he faces the same pitcher the second time around in Oklahoma State's Gabe Davis. Swings at the first pitch, high fly to right field. Backing up is Wolfert, and he has no play to make. Joe Oyama, his first home run of the summer. And it ties this game up at 2. Dylan, he's had the power to hit the doubles. He just set Orleans' triples record for a single season. But finally, the 4-bagger.
He's done it on hits inside the park, coming all the way around. He finally hits one over the fence, and that could be a huge, huge help to Oyama. He finally gets one over. He's been telling me, he said, I really just want to get that one over the fence.
Justin Rubin lays down a good bunt down the third base line and reaches on the infield single. The late throw from Caden Kent on a perfect bunt from Justin Rubin. And he gets on with a bunt single.
I've been going up to Joe. He had a really deep fly ball over at Stony Brook in Brewster a few weeks back, and he said, if I hit that one here, it would be a home run. He was right. Now, that fly ball that he just hit for the home run here wouldn't be a home run in Brewster, but it's a home run here, and it ties the game.
Here's Jack Penny. 0 for 1, but now 1 for 2. Pops it the opposite way. That's 3 hits in a row for Orleans. What a response from the Birds, rallying around Joe Oyama's first home run of the year.
And Ian, we've seen it. Joe Oyama is the train to this Firebirds offense. He gets things rolling, and if he's hitting home runs and the team's all fired up, it lets everyone know that they got to keep going with their fair share of work too. Now, with nobody out, Matt Hallback with first and second. We'll see how he wants to play this situation.
The catcher, Jaden Melendez, also wants to go over how his pitcher, Gabe Davis, wants to play this situation. First and second, nobody out. Inning starts with the solo shot from Joe Oyama. Had 7 home runs in the spring with UC Irvine, but had not had one yet here in Orleans. That changes to tie the game at 2. And ever since, a bunt single for Justin Rubin and a single to left from Jack Penny to put 2 runners on. He puts down a bunt down the left field side. Kent flips to third, didn't make the throw, and just held on to it. Matt Hallback reaches on an infield single. 4 straight hits for Orleans to start the inning. 2 of them bunts. Small ball at its best. The bases are loaded and nobody out.
Well, Ian, I'll tell you exactly what happened. Kent, the third baseman, didn't cover the bag. He went for the ball. His job was to cover third base, and the pitcher, Davis, made the right play. He was going to throw to third to get the lead runner. He couldn't, and now bases loaded.
That doesn't go down as an error, but miscommunication in the infield between Caden Kent and Gabe Davis allow for Matt Hallback to reach and also allows Justin Rubin the go-ahead run to take his lead off third. Eddie Micheletti gets ahead 1-0. Already has driven in a run today. Fastball in for a strike.
Firebirds tie the game to start the inning. Now, how much can they extend the lead? They need to hit well situationally, something they didn't do last night.
1-1 misses low. That was a 15-5 loss for Hyannis. To Hyannis, rather. Snapped a 3-game win streak for Orleans. Third loss on the year that came by at least double-digit runs. But Eddie Micheletti trying to drive in a run. He pops one up to shallow left center. It's caught by McDonald. And Justin Rubin stays put at third. A good throw from McDonald, snagged by Jaden Melendez right in front of home plate. And the bases stay loaded, now one away.
It's a frustrating at-bat for Micheletti because he got the ball in the air just like he's supposed to, but it wasn't deep enough. And Rubin, even though he has good speed, doesn't have the speed to get home on that great throw by the center fielder, McDonald. It's up to Stallman.
Stallman 0 for 1 with a ground out. That ended the first inning. Rubin on third, got on with a bunt single. Jack Penny, a regular single at second, and another bunt single. Matt Hallback on first. Stallman only his 4th game as a Firebird. 0-2.
A lot of pressure on the Firebirds hitters, and all hitters really, when there's bases loaded and the first guy gets out. You have the bases loaded, you want to drive in runs. Gotta get balls in play.
1-2. Davis misses high.
For Stallman here, he loves to pull the ball. And Martin Grudzelanek is in double play depth. There's a huge hole between first and second.
The 1-2 is chopped towards short, fielded by Fabian. His throw in time to first, but the run scores. On the RBI ground out, Justin Rubin comes home. Orleans retakes the lead 3-2. Second out of the inning.
I'm a little bit shocked that Fabian didn't go to second there to try for the double play. The Firebirds will take it, and that's why putting the ball in play is so important. You make the defense make plays, and you got the go-ahead run.
So Orleans responds to the 2 runs from Chatham with 2 runs in the top of the frame. Henry Hunter takes a pitch high and away for a ball. Runner on third is now Penny after his single. Runner on second is Hallback, who got on with a bunt single. Davis is 1-0, swung on and missed.
You like to take the lead, but with how much traffic the Firebirds have had on the base paths, already 6 hits so far in 2 2/3. You want to get more. You want to get that big hit.
Davis has allowed 3 runs, 2 of them earned. Both the earned runs coming this inning. His 1-1 on the upper third for strike 2. Just over 40 pitches for the Oklahoma State reliever. Trying to bounce back after a tough start. And his last time up against Falmouth. The 1-2 to Hunter. Runs inside and gets a piece of the catcher. It's the second time today Orleans has been plunked by a pitch. And the bases reloaded still with 2 outs for Eddie King.
That is such a big job by Henry Hunter. Stay where he is, didn't get out of the way, just took it off the arm guard. Loads the bases again, more pressure on Gabe Davis. He's throwing a lot of stress pitches. What do I mean by that? Pitches where there's a lot of runners on base, traffic that he's got to deal with, and things in his mind that do not just contain with pitchers to the batter.
In a 7-inning game, Davis trying to keep it close. Gave up 6 earned runs in his last start in under 3 innings pitched. He's already allowed 2 earned today. Bases loaded for Eddie King. The pressure certainly on. 1-0. It was a great second inning for Davis. Struck out the side. Bottom of the order went down in order. Henry Hunter, Eddie King, and Jay Casey. 1-0, swung through and missed. 1-1.
Well, Ian, I'll bring out my Rolodex of knowledge here. Last time Eddie King was up with the bases loaded, what did he do? Walk-off walk.
2-1. That was against
Kettleers
on Sunday.
Yes.
The day is just blending in the 1. But a big win that sparked a 3-game win streak for Orleans and snapped an 8-game win streak for Truitt. 2-1. Now 2-2.
And here it's about putting the ball in play at any means necessary.
The 2-2. In the air, but foul. Penny at third. Hallback at second. Hunter at first. Kelly Nicholson telling King to win it. Unfortunately, he goes down swinging for the second time this afternoon. Strikeout number 4 for Gabe Davis, and the most important one yet for the Oklahoma State hurler as Orleans strands the bases loaded, but retakes the lead 3-2 after 3. We'll go to the top of the 4th. Dylan takes over on the play-by-play when we come back on the Birds Broadcast Network.
It's time to get into the spirit, Cape Cod. And be it gardening spirit, summer fun spirit, or baseball spirit, the team at Agway of Cape Cod has you covered.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old.
See you at Agway this season.
Caterpillar machinery, generators, and marine engines, visit MiltonCat.com, your area cat dealer. Milton Cat, the Cape and Islands Caterpillar dealer, is proud to be a sponsor of today's game. Take control of your future today with life-changing opportunities in the United States Army. With opportunities for adventure and training and over 150 career paths, the Army is a way to be all you can be. Visit GoArmy.com or stop by your local recruiting station to learn more. Find out if the Army is right for you at GoArmy.com.
We head to the 4th. Ian and I switch off a little bit earlier today. 7 innings between 2 games. Game 1, Game 2. This is the first matchup of 2 between the Firebirds and the Anglers today. Evan Truitt is back to the mound here to start the 4th inning. Ran into a little bit of trouble in the 3rd, aided by some poor communication by the Orleans defense. First pitch and a hit-by pitch. That happened in the 3rd inning as well. It happens here in the 4th. Zach McDonald reaches on the first pitch of the inning.
Yeah, pitchers have not been the friend of the batters tonight. That's usually never the theme, but Orleans has been plunked by a pitch twice, and now Chatham also plunked by 2 pitches. And you'll take those free passes all day.
McDonald on first. Here's Aiden Miola, 0 for 1 on the day with a swinging strikeout. First pitch is spiked by Truitt. Hunter doesn't know where it is. It goes to the Orleans dugout. They're going to rule that's out of play. The runner heads to second base in McDonald. He's awarded second base. He was there anyway. So a wild pitch by Truitt moves McDonald to second.
You know, it hasn't been a great day for Truitt, but he also hasn't been aided by his defense. That was a wild pitch there, but he's gotten a little unlucky, and I know he's very confident out on the mound, but you got to feel it's kind of maybe shaking him a little bit.
The 1-0 in for a strike with the slider. A runner in scoring position for Chatham. And back at the bottom of the 3rd, the Firebirds left the bases loaded. It's been a little bit of a trend over the last week for Orleans. The 1-1's fouled away. And it always seems when the Firebirds leave the bases loaded, the next half inning, the opposing team comes right back at them and puts runs on the board.
That's what teams in this league are supposed to do. But for Chatham, a team that has struggled all season long, not even 10 wins yet, it's the fight they need to stay alive in the East playoff race.
1-2 is fouled, third base line.
Is that what you want?
You look at Chatham's record, and yeah, it's not pretty. Like you said, 9-20-2, but the Firebirds haven't done a good job about beating teams that are lower in the standings. 1 for 2 against the Gatemen and Wareham, who are last in the West. The 1-2 again is fouled at home plate.
Last against them. Technically, what, 0-1 against Chatham because they've only gotten through 1 game in 2/3 of a season that ended. This is a team that you should be down on. It's a down year for the A's right now, and it's been an up year for Orleans. The Anglers have struggled both at the plate and on the mound.
So a runner on second. 1-2. Base hit up the middle. Around third comes McDonald. He's getting the wave, and King won't throw it in quick enough. A game-tying RBI single by Aiden Miola. His first hit in 18 at-bats, and he ties the game at 3.
Everybody goes through their ups and downs in the summer, but once they remember just how good they are and just what they need to adjust, that could be a big break for Miola, who hit .330 during his sophomore season at Oklahoma State.
Squaring the bunt, pulling it back, is Jaden Melendez, who was hit by a pitch in the third. So now both times Truitt has hit a batter. It's come to cost him. Both of them have come around to score. Miola's at first. Nobody out here in the top of the fourth. Melendez squares the bunt again. First baseline, Hallback will field and tap the bag with his right foot for the out. Moving to second is Miola.
Both teams being unselfish tonight, willing to lay down bunts for hits or just sacrifice bunts, understanding that every run matters in a game like this where it's back and forth and neither team has seized the momentum yet.
It brings up the 9-hitter, Derek Fabian, who's making a change this offseason, heading from the University of Florida, the runner-ups in the NCAA D1 baseball tournament, and moving on to Auburn, another SEC school. Fabian reached on an error by King in the third, came around to score the second run for Chatham.
And Fabian didn't get a ton of opportunities with a really good Gators team this past year, hitting over 400 here on the Cape.
Takes a strike. Truitt, who the Firebirds are hoping to get 4 out of, if not more, along with keeping the runs down, of course. Now a tie game with a runner in scoring position with 1 out. Fabian puts a charge into this one to left center. Casey goes back at the track, at the wall. He leaps. He can't make the catch. It's a home run. Derek Fabian, a 2-run shot to put Chatham up 5-3 here in the fourth.
And that one was blasted out of here. Jay Casey with the leap, but to hit it to one of the deepest parts of a ballpark. That's what Derek Fabian's going to bring to Auburn. And the fact that he's batting 9th, he might be moving up soon with how he's played over the last third of the season for the A's. And once again, another lead change.
Second home run of the summer for Derek Fabian. Chatham now up 2 here in the fourth as we go back and forth between these two teams. It brings up the leadoff man, who's 0 for 2 on the day, Bryce Martin Grudzelanek. Takes the ball outside, and in an unusual 9-inning game, maybe that home run would knock Truitt out of the game, but they need more length from him considering where their bullpen is status-wise and considering there's another game today. The pitch is lined into left field. Into the gap goes Micheletti, and he makes the catch.
It's a big out and a well-read ball in the outfield by Eddie Micheletti. Like you said, in that 15-5 loss last night to Hyannis, Orleans burned through pitching. Sam Leboki, Colton Sundloff, Chase Loomis, Curran Jacobs, all pitched. Good news is earlier in the week, Orleans picked up a couple wins, and in both of them, they only pitched 2 pitchers each.
Lefty Caden Kent fouls on first base line and onto the base of the hill. A good crowd for an early start today in Orleans. The earliest home game this season, starting at 3:30. The 0-1 is popped up, left field side and out of play. Quickly 0-2 against the lefty Kent, out of Texas A&M, the Cape Cod Baseball League All-Star, with 10 RBIs on the summer. Truitt looking to get out of this fourth. The 0-2 is lined into left field over the glove of Penny for a base hit. A 2-out single for Caden Kent, his first hit of the day, and he's on with 2 outs.
Chatham trying to make it the second inning in a row where they do more damage with 2 outs. Last frame drove in a couple runs with 2 outs on the board thanks to a single from Tyler Wolfert that scored the bottom men in the order, Jaden Melendez and Derek Fabian.
Tyler Wolfert, the righty, in the 3-hole. Takes a ball outside from Truitt. It has not been his control today. That's been great. 44 strikes. in 62 pitches. But he's leaving too many over the heart of the plate. Kent put good wood on his single. Fabian with a home run to left center that cleared the wall by a good 10 feet. And the sign reads 350. Along with some poor defense by the Firebirds, and there's 5 runs for Chatham on the board. The 1-1 is on the ground to short. Good hop for Rubin. Underhand tosses it to Oyama for out number 3. But not before Chatham adds 3 here in the top of the 4th. They take a 5-3 lead as we move to the bottom of the frame.
It's always a hit at Orleans Seafoods on 18 Old Colony Way here in sunny Orleans. Open 7 days a week, 9:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. for all your seafood needs. Our clam-baked dinners will be a home run with everyone, featuring local lobsters, clams, mussels, corn, and linguiça. Check out our weekly specials and the freshest native seafood available direct from local fishermen. It's a steal. Put on the hit and run with a fresh homemade lobster roll to go, served hot or cold and made fresh to order. Call any of our crew at Orleans Seafoods, 508-255-7221 to place your order. Also find us on the web at www.capetainseafoods.com.
Here in the bottom of the 4th, a high-scoring game between Chatham and Orleans. 5-3 in favor of the Anglers. And for the Firebirds, they start with Jake Casey, the bottom man in the order, to start off the 4th. Casey, the lefty, and the center fielder tonight for Orleans, tries to lay down a bunt right in front of home plate. Melendez picks it up, goes to the inside part of first base to get the out. Casey has great speed, but Melendez fires a strike over to first.
Great effort from Casey. Can't blame him there. If only that bunt could have leaked a little bit closer to the mound and away from home plate, because Melendez at 5'7", 170, he has a cannon with that right arm.
Back to the left side of the box for the Firebirds. Joe Oyama with a big 3rd inning. A home run, his first of the summer for the man out of UC Irvine. Up 2-0 in the count against Gabe Davis. His pitch count's in a really good spot. 63 will be the pitch number he tosses next to the lefty Oyama. He fires it high.
Yeah, I know Sammy talked earlier in the game about a hypothetical starting 5 in basketball if Orleans ever played a pickup game.
And Oyama walks on 4 pitches.
Gabe Davis would be a pretty good addition to that team.
I take him in the paint every single day. Boxing out, the low block, getting rebounds. Also got a little bit of strength on him. Here's Justin Rubin, who singled on a bunt in the 3rd. He's got Oyama at first. He's already stolen a base today. Rubin takes low. Good block by Melendez. He keeps it in front of him and keeps Oyama at bay at first.
Well, Davis is 6'9". He was dunking a basketball in 8th grade when he was only 6'1". People are just so lucky genetically. Why did I never go through that growth spurt?
I don't know who you have to blame for that one.
My parents.
The 1-0 is low and away, and Davis has lost the zone. 6 straight balls out of the righty.
Is that confirmed?
Didn't make a single appearance this past year at Oklahoma State that went over 3 innings. A little bit different this summer.
His first start of the summer as well for Chatham. Checking over on Oyama.
Oyama stole his 5th base of the summer in the first inning after he led off with a single and scored on an Eddie Micheletti hit.
Another check on Oyama on a high throw. Donahue brings it down. Checked out his 4th start of the summer. Had to prep for 2 starting pitchers today. We'll tell you about the next one when game 2 rolls around. Ruben's up 2-0 in the count with 1 out. Davis taking a long time in the stretch. And he gets a swing and miss from Ruben.
Ruben, one of the biggest pluses to his game so far during his time in Orleans. He's limited the strikeouts, getting on base often and rarely going down via the K.
Oyama with a strong lead, 2-1, right back up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. Justin Ruben collects his 2nd hit of the day, and the Firebirds are set up with 2 on and 1 out here in the 4th.
The great trend continues to start this summer for Justin Ruben. He has reached in every single game as a Firebird. Had a hit in first 9 games of the season. Just been a sensational summer for a guy who's restarting his career at Pepperdine after 2 years at Virginia.
He'll now face Davis. Jack Penny, who he fires inside. Penny had a single in the 3rd to left center field. Oyama at 2nd. At first is Ruben. Birds down 5-3 here in the bottom of the 4th to Chatham. A back and forth seesaw type of game. The 1-0 is outside. Ian Davis has completely lost his command here in the 4th.
He's still throwing a lot more strikes and balls overall, but you have to wonder, when do they pull the leash on him?
Kicks and deals a 2-0 line drive to shortstop, caught by Fabian. On the backhand, a hard hit ball, but right at the shortstop for out number 2.
Jack Penny with a well-hit baseball. Unfortunately, straight into the glove of Fabian. If that makes its way into the outfield, it's probably scoring a run. With the speed Joe Oyama has on second, his former summer ball teammate in the West Coast League, Matt Hallback, now trying to bring him home.
The righty Hallback of UC San Diego swings and misses at a ball in the dirt. That's the coveted slider out of Davis. The Firebirds, through 3 innings today, have left 5 runners on base. They're in danger of leaving 2 more if Hallback can't come through. With a lot of speed on the bases. Oyama at 2nd, Ruben at 1st. The 0-1, this one a strike called by Joseph Labella, the home plate umpire, for game 1, and the crew will shift for game 2. 0-2 the count against the righty Hallback. Pitch from Davis, strike 3, swinging. So after a walk to Oyama and a single by Ruben with 1 out, the Firebirds can't take advantage. They leave 2 on as we go to the 5th. They are down 5-3.
Your attention please now. Pitching for the Firebirds from Grand Canyon University, number 45, Nathan Ward.
We go to the 5th inning in game 1 of a doubleheader between the Firebirds and the Anglers. And a new face, well, not new, but returning from injury, Nate Ward takes the mound here in the 5th as the Birds are down 2. Had some issues with the arm. Rehabbed it right here in Orleans and is back on and back healthy. Could play a big role in this bullpen for Orleans.
Has not pitched since the 3rd of the month. 18 days ago, pitched in back-to-back games. Both wins here from Eldredge against Wareham and Hyannis. Overall on the year, now making his 7th appearance out of a pen. Ward 4 1/3 innings pitched on this summer. He's given up 3 earned runs with 4 strikeouts and 2 walks.
He'll face Nolan Schubert, the lefty. Kyson Donahue, another lefty, and Zach McDonald. 4-5-6 for Chatham here in the 5th. Birds need to keep this game where it is. Feels a fastball strike to the lefty. Ward out of Grand Canyon University. I guess the Firebirds are saying, Gabe Davis, you're 6'9", and we'll bring out our 6'8" man, Nate Ward, the righty.
Nolan Schubert with a hit his last time up. I know he's no longer with the team, Tom Holliday, the manager of VAs, but he had a lot of great things to say about Schubert before he left.
1-1 is low.
He compared him to Joe DiMaggio, the way he steps up in the batter's box. And yeah, I think it's probably a little rich, but Schubert had one heck of a freshman season at Oklahoma State, hit just under 340.
The 2-1 has popped up foul. I don't know if I'd go with the name Joe DiMaggio right off the bat. Pun intended. But to each its own. 2-2, Ward against Schubert. The lefty with 2 home runs on the year. And a double back in the 3rd. Fouls away the 2-2 offering.
He's been really good for a really long time, although he might not be Hall of Fame good just yet. Won a gold medal back in 2019 with Team USA. Played on the U15 team too.
Ward from the windup, 2-2. Curveball is low, and Schubert works the count full.
Give him credit, good discipline. You know, he slugged nearly 700 as a freshman, but he also got on base at a 450 clip.
The righty deals the full count pitch. It's popped up into shallow left field. In comes Micheletti, and he'll make the catch.
It's a good battle to get Nate Ward back into things. Does not face an easy test. And the all-star in Schubert, but he wins it on the full count pitch with some weak contact to the outfield.
The Chatham lineup moves to Kyson Donahue. 1 for 2 on the day with a single in the 2nd against the righty, Nate Ward, who pitches from the windup. The first man out of the bullpen for Orleans. First pitch swinging a hard ground ball to second that Oyama gobbles up and tosses to first for the 2nd out of the inning.
Nate Ward looks good. You know, battled some injuries, like you said. Worked through it. First time pitching in 18 days. Faces the meat of the Chatham order. Faces 2 guys already with a hit today. And retires them.
Now this guy doesn't have a hit, but he does have a run, and he was hit by a pitch. Zach McDonald takes low to start his at-bat. Here in the 5th. 0 for 1 on the day. A strikeout. He was the 2nd man to be hit by a pitch to lead off an inning against Truitt. And both of them came around to score. Truitt went 4 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them being earned, and 2 strikeouts with no walks. The 2-0 is lined down the left field line, but foul.
Yeah, McDonald's got good power. He's got 2 home runs and 5 runs driven in here with Chatham. His 11th game with the team. Plays at Miami of Ohio. Had 13 home runs, played every single game for the Red Hawks in the spring.
The 2-1 is on the ground, up the middle. Rubin can't corral it as it goes in and out of his glove. That'll most likely go down as an infield single for Chatham, and it does, as McDonald reaches for the 2nd time today.
Both teams with 7 hits, but one team has been a little bit better at driving runners home. Orleans already with 7 base runners stranded. Chatham, on the other hand, is coming up in big spots.
Miola came in and came up in a big spot last time up. An RBI single to drive home McDonald in the 4th. He's 1 for 2 on the day. His first time facing Nate Ward. Of course, this being his first inning of work in 18 days. A stellar year at GCU for Ward. An under 1 ERA. Fires outside for a ball. And it says a lot about Ward's character that, we got dinged up here in the summer, and he could easily, go home and say, summer ball wasn't for me. I have to go get healthy 100%. But he rehabbed here, and now he's back in a Firebird uniform on the field.
Yeah, it does say a lot about him. And I think he probably got comfortable here in Orleans pretty quick, given the fact that Orleans' ace was also a Grand Canyon guy, Daniel Avidia, but super well liked. He's produced in some big spots. He's just trying to get a little bit better. After 1 year playing at a good program in Grand Canyon, began his collegiate career at Yavapai College, a Division I JUCO. So to go from JUCO to Grand Canyon to the Cape, a huge opportunity for a guy like Nate Ward.
No humidity there, humid here in Massachusetts. The 2-1 of Miola's inside. Quickly 2 outs for Ward. He allows a single to McDonald. And now down 3-1 in the count to the righty Miola, who broke an 0 for 13 streak last time up. Off first. The pitch is fouled away. Runs the count full. The runner, McDonald, will get a head start over at first, with 2 outs and the count being 3-2. Chatham up 5-3 here in the top of the 5th. The wind going from left to right. The American flag blowing in right center field. The runner goes and nobody even sees him. Chatham steal the base. McDonald took second, and the Firebirds defense was sleeping.
This is not a Chatham team that steals bases often. The fewest stolen bases in the league.
McDonald saw a hole and went to it. Doesn't matter. Called strike 3 on Aiden Miola. Ward gets a strikeout and tosses a scoreless inning in his first time back in 18 days. A clean 5th inning for Nate Ward. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. Firebirds chasing 2.
Attention please. Now pitching for Chatham from the University of Tennessee, number 47, Xander Seacrest. Kids, get out your green raffle tickets. This is for the autographed baseball. You ready? Here we go. The winning number is 847-3014. 847-3014. If you have that number, come on up to the booth and I'll give you your autographed baseball.
The story of the game so far has been missed opportunities for Orleans. A similar fate had them losing last night 15-5 to Hyannis. currently down 5-3 to Chatham in the bottom of the 5th of a 7-inning game. Game 1 of 2 today between these two squads. Orleans has left 7 runners on base in the first 4 innings, and now they'll face a new arm, a lefty out of Tennessee. And who is it, Ian?
It's Xander Seacrest. Orleans fans may remember him from the game but never was. Back on the 5th, Orleans and Chatham couldn't even make it through 4 innings from Veterans Field because of fog, but it was a very fun 4 innings. 5 runs for both teams. All those runs came off 2 home runs against Seacrest. 1 for Jack Penny, 1 for Eddie King Jr., but those stats not officially charged against him because that game is yet to be finished.
Lefty Seacrest pulls the string on Micheletti, who's out in front of the first pitch from the lefty. Micheletti with an RBI single in the first and flew out to center in the 3rd. Another slider in there for a strike. Seacrest out of Tennessee had an awesome year. A 2 ERA out of the bullpen in the SEC. They'll face a man, and is facing one, who's transferring to the ACC in the fall. Andy Micheletti heading to Virginia Tech. 0-2 fastball doesn't get the call, just outside. Seacrest was walking off the mound thinking he already had his first out of the inning.
It was a great spring for Seacrest. It's been tough sledding in the summer. Just over an 8 ERA and a little under 7 innings pitched.
The 1-2 from the lefty. Now he gets called strike 3. A fastball in the outside corner. Sits down Micheletti Jr. First out for Seacrest is a strikeout.
The strikeout numbers are good, though. That's now 7 Ks in 7 innings for Seacrest, who had 32 Ks and under 30 innings pitched with the Vols in the spring. When he's got everything going, he's really untouchable.
Brandon Stallman, another lefty in this Firebirds order. If there was any spot for Seacrest to come in, Ian, Martin Lee is the acting manager for Chatham, does a great job of bringing him in with 3 straight lefties in this Firebirds order.
And Kelly Nicholson's not the only manager in the Cape that can play the matchup game. And this lineup today from Nicholson, lefty heavy. 6 of them, and 3 of them bunched right down the heart of the order.
Stallman puts it in play to second. Up with it is Martin Grudzelanek and makes the throw to first for the out number 2. Ian, you go back to that 3rd inning with 2 runs coming across the plate for the Firebirds, but another inning where they leave the bases loaded. And ever since then, it's kind of been that type of game where Orleans gets enough hits to create traffic, but they can't get the big one. Here's Henry Hunter, the lefty catcher. First pitch from Seacrest is lined into right. Turning one way, turning back another way is the right fielder, Wolfert, who makes the catch. 1-2-3 inning for Seacrest in the 5th. We'll go to the 6th. Orleans still chasing 5-3 Chatham.
What Cape home design will you dream up? For over 16 years, Cape Dreams Building and Design has specialized in building custom homes for clients across Cape Cod. Our core values of honesty, integrity, and quality work are what separates us from other Cape builders and help us make your dreams of your next new home a reality. From new construction to additions and renovations, contact Cape Dreams today or visit our website at capedreamsbd.com.
066 030 066 030.
Welcome back to the Birds Broadcast Network. Before the game, I spoke with Firebirds bullpen coach Cole Cook, and he said one of his favorite things about not only their starter, Evan Truitt, tonight, but their bullpen as a whole is that they come in ready to work every single day and never stay complacent. Every day they come in and they're wanting to work on ways to diversify their pitching arsenal and also fine-tune some certain things. As a coach, you can't really ask for anything more because you have players who have that want and will to get better. And Coach said he's so excited to see them take what they learn here and implement it in the fall of their respective colleges. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sammy. A bullpen for the Firebirds that has been really good this season. And they bring out another arm out of that bullpen. It's Ryan Reeses, the lefty, out of UC San Diego. His 2nd appearance this summer for the Firebirds in his 2nd summer in Orleans.
Appeared in 8 games last year, mostly out of a bullpen, and made his debut this summer out of a bullpen as well. Hasn't pitched since last Saturday at Wareham in the 5-4 walk-off loss to the Gatemen. And got 2 outs. Didn't give up a hit or run. Recorded 2 strikeouts with a walk. Takes the field with his collegiate teammate Matt Hallback, a fellow UC San Diego Triton. Rhesus with the long sleeves. That's his trademark, although it's pretty hot and humid today.
You saw the sun come out in the second of the third. Now it's kind of gone behind some clouds, making its appearances here and there. A defensive change for the Firebirds. Eddie King is moved to center field in place of Jake Casey. Fenwick Trimble is in right field. Casey out of the lineup. Trimble in his spot. The lefty Rhesus will face Jaden Melendez, Derek Fabian, and Bryce Martin Gredzalonic. 8, 9, and 1 in the Chatham order.
It's bottom of an order that's gotten it done tonight, whether it's Jaden Melendez moving runners over with bunts or Derek Fabian, whose 2-run home run put Chatham ahead in the 4th inning. It's been a productive night for the A's. Hasn't been their season in terms of offensive production, towards the bottom of the league in both runs and hits. But over the last week or so, this Chatham team has shown some grit. You go back to a tie earlier in the week that Chatham had with Truitt, best team in the league, down 12-2 early in the game. Chatham ends up tying the game at 12-all. Now, fortunately, it would end in a tie because of darkness, they say, in Truitt. It's a Chatham team that has an opportunity to get back into East Division standings, only 4 games back of a playoff spot.
Had some games in hand, have been making up a lot of games on usual league off days. First pitch swing is Melendez, a pop-up in foul territory, and it reaches the small hill and to the road behind us on Route 28.
I was also looking up for last day.
Melendez is
He was on the Red Sox. And
for 1 on the day.
He's on like 2019.
Forced out at first on a bunt, and was also hit by a pitch. He scored a run. Rhesus fires outside.
You'll remember if I send you a picture. Hold on.
The second man out of the Orleans bullpen, like Ian told you, hasn't pitched in 6 days.
He sucked, bud.
The lefty from the windup over the top. Melendez pops it up in foul territory. Micheletti gives it a look near the pole. It's fair, and it's gone. A fly ball that just stays inside the foul pole, and a solo shot for Jaden Melendez. His first home run on the summer to give Chatham a 6-3 lead.
Melendez, a recent addition to this team. And a bit of a cold start to the summer, too. 1 for 9 headed into today. But Melendez with a big swing. Second home run of the day for Chatham. And the lead only grows in the late stages.
There's another man with a home run tonight for Chatham, or should I say this evening, with a 3 o'clock start. A 2-run shot in the 4th, scoring Aiden Miola. Scored Chatham's 4th and 5th runs. Derek Fabian, he's reached twice. He's also scored 2 runs.
Still repping the helmet, the Florida helmet. I know you can't really tell the difference between a UF helmet and a Chatham A's helmet, but the College World Series sticker off the right side of it on the back, bringing that playoff experience to a team trying to make it into the dance.
0-2 fastball high and away. Rhesus' first run given up, his first home run given up this summer as well. Covers his face with his glove and pitches from the stretch. Fabian reaches out and pokes it into right center. It'll drop for a base hit. Thought about 2. He'll head back to first. And 2 straight hits for Chatham here in the 6th.
Yeah, this team just won't quit. In the bottom of the order, again, give them credit, Melendez and Fabian. You know, when you start the inning and you face 8, 9, and 1. You hope you can at least get one, if not both, of the guys out in the bottom of the order. But the lineup tonight for Marty Lees at the bottom of the order is setting up the top of the order very well to make something happen. Bryce Martin Grungelanic, a little quiet, trying to wake up.
And here he is in the right-handed batter's box. Looks to drop down a bunt, takes a ball.
Yeah, I remember him.
You know, we talked about what has Orleans struggled with today. Driving in runners, playing good defense, and pitching well. They've gone 0 for 3.
Well, you've committed an error. Your bullpen a little beat up. Nate Ward able to work through some traffic last inning.
In for a strike, now 1-1.
Evan Truitt, not his best start of the summer. But the defense also missed some plays here and there. And just like last night. Orleans took the lead early, but stranded the bases loaded in the first inning. Could have had a lot more than a 2-0 lead.
1-1, big curveball in for a strike. Locked up Grungelanic.
And again, tonight, you also strand the bases loaded earlier on in this game. Cannot happen, especially this time of year. The big hits need to come a little more frequently.
1-2 pitch, change up, got him in front, strike 3. Reeses gets his first out of the 6th on the strikeout.
It's a good response from Reeses. Very calm, cool, and collected on the mound. You know, he's been here before. His second summer out here. A bit of an up and down season with UC San Diego. Had some issues with walks, but you give up back-to-back hits to start the inning. But then you come back and you attack the top guy in the order and deliver a K.
Lefty-lefty matchup. Kent pops up the bunt. And off the top of the Chatham dugout on the third base side here at Eldredge. Game 2 of the doubleheader will start 45 minutes after Game 1. Got to get the field ready. And all that comes with it. Orleans looking to keep Game 1 where it is at 6-3 Chatham here in the top of the 6th. Reeses fires a fastball high that's popped up at a play behind home plate.
You know, Kent didn't play a ton during his freshman season at Texas A&M. Really relished the opportunity to play here on the Cape, and boy, is he taking advantage of it. Under 30 games played in the spring, but an all-star as an everyday piece for this A's team.
He's found his spot in this lineup. Swing and a miss at a fastball that rides away from the lefty. Back-to-back Ks for Reeses.
Somebody that Kelly Nicholson can trust to get outs out of a bullpen. Not just a lefty specialist. Striking out Martin Grungelanic, the right-handed batter. Kent, the lefty. But back to the righty, Tyler Wolfert. Trying to keep a runner stranded.
Wolfert is 1 for 3 on the day. Pops up, foul territory, haul back near the fence, at the fence. It hits the netting before he has a chance to make the play.
Sophia, please.
Yeah, Hallback's been very good defensively this year for Orleans. There's a reason why it's an all-star. He is hitting the ball very well, but he's also been very good at first, a position he usually isn't playing. Ryan Reeses is used to seeing him play at third during his collegiate times with the Tritons, but he's played a very good first base for Orleans ever since Johnny Olmstead got drafted by the Miami Marlins.
Earlier 2 weeks ago, Reeses fires low on the 0-1 to Wolfert. Now that would have been an interesting play for Hallback because he not only has to make a circus catch, but he has to keep his feet out of the out-of-bounds area just past the Orleans Firebirds bullpen. If he catches it in the out-of-bounds area, it doesn't matter. 1-1 is popped up in the infield, this time in front of the Orleans dugout. Hallback to the guardrail. He makes the catch right in front of his teammates, who give him some high fives as he enters the dugout. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Reeses allows 1 run in the top of the frame. 6-3 Chatham as we go to the bottom of the 6th.
This is your world, your job, your crew, your CAT compact equipment. And this is the support from your local CAT dealer. This is helping you meet your deadlines, your bottom line, your offers, your savings. This is getting you your parts and everything you need on time, easier than ever.
It's getting late here in game one of a 7-inning game between the Firebirds and the Chatham Anglers. The Firebirds are down to their final 6 outs. As we enter the bottom of the 6th, Eddie King Jr. will be the first batter for Orleans. Xander Seacrest back on the mound. King looks to bunt, and he straight up misses it. A strike called as the bunt attempt fails. Xander Seacrest is back out for his second inning of work after going 1-2-3 in the 5th.
Looking like a much different pitcher than he was the first time around against Orleans in a game that he gave up 2 home runs. Looks much more like the Tennessee Vol with a 2 ERA so far through 3 outs here today.
Faces the righty King and fires low. On deck is Fenwick Trimble. It'll be his first at-bat. Came in as their defensive replacement to start the 6th for Jay Casey. 2 on the count against King, who fouls it away just past Trimble on the on-deck circle, who jokingly raised his hand looking to catch the ball, but it went between him and in the hole batter, Joe Oyama. 2-2 the count against the righty King. A ground ball to third. Kent fields it on 2 hops and makes the throw over to first for the out.
Yeah, it's been a quiet day for King. You're out of the lineup yesterday and now 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. And a ground out. Orleans looking for some life late in this game. So Orleans turns to the bench and calls upon Fenwick Trimble, who's already been inserted in right field and now in the bottom of the order for Orleans.
Trimble in the 9-hole. Swing first pitch, line drive caught by Kent. Hard contact, no result for Trimble. Quickly 2 outs here in the 6th.
Not much to say there. This is a great play from Kent. Got low on a line drive that could have easily made its way into the outfield for a single for Fenwick Trimble. He's been unlucky as of late from the plate.
The lefty Seacrest has faced 5 batters. He's sat them all down. Joe Oyama is number 6. Another batter from the left side. Seacrest fires the 1-0. It's a fastball in the outside corner for a strike. Oyama's had a good day. He's reached on all 3 chances he's had at home plate. A single in the first, a homer in the 3rd, and a walk in the 4th. He's up 2-1 in the count against the lefty Seacrest.
If there's anybody that can start a late game rally, it's the heart and soul of this team, Joe Oyama. What a good night. He's reached all 3 times.
Takes a strike. 2-2, 2 outs. Seacrest 1 strike away from going 6 up, 6 down out of the bullpen for Chatham. The wind picking up the 2-2 pitch. Weak ground ball to second. Martin Grudzelanek. It goes off his glove as he took a spill. Did not have his footing. That'll be an error on the second baseman. Oyama reaches with 2 outs.
Second error on the day for Chatham. Cannot have those in a game that's still within reach. Justin Rubin tries to keep the rally alive.
Here's Rubin from the right side. It just misses his ankle guard. If it did tap that, it would have put the tying run at the plate and Jack Penny, who's on deck. Oyama at first. Firebirds down 3. And 2-0 the count to Rubin, who singled in his last at-bat. He's 2 for 3 on the day.
That's just what Justin Rubin does. It's nothing fancy. But at the end of the night, his final stat line is usually going to look very good.
A check over on Oyama, who isn't going to be going anywhere with the score being what it is. The Firebirds need as many base runners as they can get. Looking to get Jack Penny up as the tying run. 2 outs here in the 6th. The 2-0 pitch cut on and missed.
You know, Rubin said to me a few days ago after a win against Truitt, when we've lost close. This team always shows fight. Can this team show a little more fight? Can he provide the close?
2-1, a cold strike as Seacrest has found the zone again. Firing in the fastballs in his second inning of work. His first inning was a lot of sliders, a lot of breaking balls. He's going with the heat. The 2-2, fastballs outside. Seacrest loses his hat in the process. Full count to Rubin, the right-handed hitter who's transferring to Pepperdine in the fall after 2 years at Virginia. Oyama will get a head start with the count being full and 2 outs, but not before. Seacrest checks over on him once more.
Big moment in this game. 2 outs, full count with a runner on with great speed. Put the ball in play. He's got a chance to score.
The full count pitch, cut on and missed. A strikeout. Seacrest gets another one, his second in 6 outs. He goes 2 scoreless out of the bullpen. The Firebirds leave another runner on base here in the 6th, and we'll go to the 7th. Chatham up 3.
At Curry, we'll meet you where you are and help you discover who you want to become.
We enter the 7th inning here in Game 1 of 2 today. Ryan Races is back out for his second inning of work. Ran into some trouble in the bottom of the order against Chatham's 8 and 9 hitters. Jaden Melendez with a home run off Races to start his outing off. And then a single by Derek Fabian. But Races came back with 2 strikeouts and a flyout in foul territory to get out of that jam. The score reads 6-3 Anglers. And up comes the lefty Nolan Schubert. Out of Oklahoma State, a big curveball that drops low by Reeses. In his second appearance this summer for the Firebirds. In his second summer here in Orleans.
Taking all the signs down.
A NorCal native. Plays his college ball in SoCal. And his summer ball in Cape Cod. It's a lefty-lefty matchup. The 1-1. Schubert takes a fastball for a strike.
Yeah, last season, Ryan Reeses was the only player from UC San Diego representing the Tritons out here on the Cape. He was very proud of that fact, and that's a program on the rise out of the Big West.
The 1-2. Schubert gave a half swing. He also got hit by the pitch. Check over at third. He didn't swing. That is the third time today in 7 innings that the Firebirds have hit the leadoff man for Chatham.
And the last time that it happened, Aiden Miola took advantage, drove in a run with a single that scored Zach McDonald, who was also plunked. That was 3 innings ago in the 4th. You can't allow the leadoff guy to reach as frequently as Orleans has handed tonight. There's not a reason to really explain it. Reeses just runs the pitch inside.
Funny enough, the Firebirds pitching staff has not walked a batter in this game. They have hit 3. And a strike fired to Kyson Donahue.
Well, it's an Orleans pitching staff that has limited the walks all year long, the 3rd lowest whip in the league, and that's why they also have the 3rd lowest ERA in the league.
Reeses fires the 0-1. It's fouled. Third base side out of play. 0-2 against the lefty Donahue. Comes into this at bat, his 4th of the day. 1 for 3. Reeses looking to keep the game where it is at 6-3. Get the Birds up to bat, looking for a comeback in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-2 is cut on and missed. A strikeout for Reeses. His 3rd in 4 outs. For out number 1 here in the 7th.
Reese is somebody whose stuff generates a lot of swing and miss. Over 3 years at UC San Diego, averaging just over 10.5 strikeouts per 9. Struck out 35 batters in just over 31 innings of work in the spring.
Zach McDonald is the righty batter. And a fastball that goes right into the glove of the catcher, Henry Hunter. For strike 1. Off first is Schubert. He was hit by a pitch to lead off the inning. Reese's 0-1 is in the dirt. Ian, when we look back at this game, of course, depending if the Firebirds come back in the 7th, I should say.
It technically is the 9th.
It technically is the 9th here in a 7-inning doubleheader. You look at this game and you say the Firebirds have done everything to give Chatham the game. Hit by pitches, errors, miscommunication defensively, and leaving runners on.
Just tough because, you know, it was always interesting how you respond to such a devastating loss like last night's blowout against Hyannis. Do the guys come out a little flat? Or do the guys come out with a little bit of juice? I know it's a weird day, right? You're playing at 3 o'clock, 3:30. You got to speed everything up. You got to show up to the field a little earlier. But this is a big day for Orleans. You know, you have an opportunity to stay close to YD towards the top of the East. But with back-to-back losses, that you drift more towards the middle of the standings.
The 1-2 pitch is outside. It almost brings me back to the Bourne game, which was 2 nights ago at Doran Park. Bourne played a good game. They had a lot of traffic on the base paths, but 2 wild pitches, along with some other defensive errors, helped Orleans finish that game off and win that game 5-3 to make it 3 in a row. A pop-up on the infield. It'll drift foul near the first base fence. Hallback makes the catch in foul territory for out number 2.
This is a Chatham team that, like I said, it hasn't been their year. They've got some talented pieces on this team. They're starting to play a little tougher. They've had a couple big hits tonight, 2 home runs, one from Derek Fabian, one from Jada Melendez. At the height of their powers, Orleans is a team that pitches unbelievably well and has a very good offense. Tonight we've seen an offense that stranded some base runners, similar to last night, and the pitching hasn't necessarily been there, and the offense hasn't picked up the pitching and been there. It was back and forth early on, blow for blow. The offense stalled out. The pitching couldn't reel it in. As a result, we sit in a 3-run ball game right now, and Chatham's in front.
A frustrating start to the day for Orleans, a team that's 1-3 of 4. Miola chases low. The only batter in the lineup that Reeses hasn't faced yet for Chatham. Miola with an RBI single in the 4th. That's bordered by strikeouts in the second and the fifth. The 1-1 is a fastball that curls in the inside corner. For strike number 2, Reese's 1 strike away from tossing a scoreless 7th inning. In the bottom of the frame, which is basically the last inning, it is the last inning, Jack Penny, Matt Hallback, and Eddie Micheletti Jr. due up for Orleans. The 1-2 pitch is low, no chase.
You know, it hasn't been the cleanest 2 innings from Reese's, but still like what you got to see. He's got great stuff. He's got 3 strikeouts, the hit by pitch and the home run, the blemishes, but overall, his confidence on the mound, his trust in his stuff, it's apparent.
2-2 is outside. Count runs full. Reese's in an inning and 2/3 with 35 pitches. Efficiency has not been his game today. Chatham is making him work. Miola forces the count full with 2 outs. And the runner on first is Schubert. He's been there since he led off the inning with a hit by pitch and another walk. Or I should say the first walk, another free pass. From the Firebirds pitching staff, putting 2 on with 2 outs.
Back to the bottom 2 in the order with Jaden Melendez, who's still taking off his catcher's gear. Been a productive day for him. Plunked by a pitch in the 3rd, came around the score on a 2-run single for Wolfert. Laid down a sac bunt in the 4th. Solo shot last inning. That was also against Reese's, his first batter faced.
Melendez, the righty, with 2 on and 2 outs here on the top of the 7th. Chatham up 3, looking for more. Reese's fires low. And when we talked about the starting pitcher for today's game 1, Evan Truitt, we talked about efficiency and getting quick outs. Reese's is the opposite. A lot of long battles against the lefty. A perfectionist of sorts as his curveball runs low. 2-0 to the 8-hitter. I mean, you look at your book, and 4 of the 5 check that 6. 4 of the 6 Chatham runs have been by the 8 and 9 hitters, letting the bottom of the order beat you.
Yeah, it's been Melendez and Fabian's show.
2-0 is cracked into center, shallow center. In comes Eddie King, and he'll make the catch. A scoreless inning by Ryan Reeses in the 7th. Last call for Orleans, down 3 as we go to the bottom of the frame.
It's time to get into the spirit, Cape Cod. And be it gardening spirit, summer fun spirit, or baseball spirit. The team at Agway of Cape Cod has you covered.
1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old home.
See you at Agway this season.
Xander Seacrest is in for another inning of work, his 3rd. His job, get 3 outs before the Firebirds score 3 runs. They have 3 through the first 6 innings. This is the last inning of the game. It is a 7-inning game due to it being a doubleheader today between these 2 squads. Jack Penny will lead it off here in the 7th. A single in the 3rd, bordered by a flyout in the 1st and a line out in the 4th. The Firebirds chasing 3 against a Chatham team that came in with 9 wins in 32 games. Single up the middle. Penny gets the inning started with a leadoff knock.
You know, you mentioned throughout the game this is an Orleans team that's lacked the big hit in some clutch situations, but I'd say the most clutch player on this team all summer has been Jack Penny. You know, I know his numbers don't pop off the page, but he's an all-star starter for good reason, and his hits usually come at the most critical junctures in ball games, like this one, where you're down 3.
The righty Hallback takes low from Seacrest. There was, you know, you look at his game logs, and the outing that stands out to you was his first one against Falmouth, an inning where he gave up 5 runs being earned, 7 of them total. 6 hits, 2 walks. That was his first outing on June 29th in a 13-4 loss. So it hasn't been the free passes. It's been just hits against Seacrest. Penny starts out the inning with a single of his own. Hallback's up 2-0 in the count. Swings and fouls it right back at the plate.
I mean, Seacrest had over an 8 ERA headed into today, and that ERA, unfortunately for him, is only going to shoot up once that game is played next week, where he gave up 2 home runs, one to Penny, who's on first, and one to Eddie King Jr. back on the 5th in a game that didn't finish. His ERA would be over 10 if you included that, where he gave up 2 really big hits.
The 2-1 is low, and Hallback is 1 ball away from bringing up the tying run, which would be Eddie Micheletti Jr. The Birds looking to stage a comeback here in the bottom of the 7th against Chatham. 3-1 the count. The pitch from Seacrest is popped foul. First base side out of play, and the count's full.
There's also a pinch hitter in the hole in Drew Farreau in place of Brandon Stallman. I know, thinking a little bit ahead, but there are no outs. And Farreau's been very good from the plate recently, hitting over 300 in his last 9 games.
The 3-2 pitch up the middle. In comes the center fielder McDonald, and he'll make the catch on the line out. Hallback with good contact. Seacrest comes back from 2-0, comes back from 3-1 in the count to get out number 1.
Yeah, Seacrest catches a break there. McDonald tracked it well in center. Good catch. Could have dropped in the gap potentially for an extra base hit.
Up comes Eddie Micheletti Jr. with 1 on and 1 out. An RBI single for Micheletti in the first. Fly out in the third, and a strikeout looking against Seacrest, his first batter of his outing in the 5th. The Firebirds need 1 more runner to bring up the tying run. Ball goes outside for ball 1 in the first pitch of this lefty-lefty battle. If Drew Farreau on deck as a pinch hitter, Colin Tuff stands in the hole, hoping they can be the tying run. And they're 2 balls away from being just that.
Yeah, Tuff pinch hitting for the catcher, Henry Hunter, who 0 for 2 on the game.
Of course, the lefty Seacrest plays a role in that, looking to bring up more righties. The 2-0 is outside 3-0. And the catcher Melendez is going to come and meet with Seacrest at the mound. You got to think Micheletti is, of course, taking 3-0. And Seacrest, who's been a little bit wild here this inning, throwing 3 balls to Hallback as well in that at-bat. Having trouble finding the zone.
In his 34 pitches overall, he's only thrown 4 more strikes than balls, and he's struggling this inning. Eddie Micheletti, somebody who's going to take his walks when he can. Struck out his last time up, but very rarely does he go down via the K.
The 3-0 is a fastball for a strike. See if Micheletti is turned loose on the 3-1. A lefty who came in hitting .239 on the year with 2 home runs and 11 RBIs. Penny off first. The 3-1 pitch is popped foul and out of play. Once again, Seacrest comes back from being down in the count, and now the count's full.
Not the prettiest performance from Seacrest, but giving this team length and a doubleheader, showing off some of his good swing and miss pitches. and not giving up.
Micheletti down the right field line. Will it stay fair is the question, and it won't. Had the distance, didn't keep it within the foul poles. Count stays full. Penny heads back to first. Gabe Davis was the starting pitcher for Chatham, and he went 4 innings, giving up 3 runs and 2 being earned. Xander Seacrest is looking to complete a 3-inning performance out of the bullpen. The full count pitch to Micheletti is on the ground to second. Grudzalonic to second for 1. On to first. A double play to end the game. 6-3, Chatham wins here in game 1 of the doubleheader. Orleans falls. They move back to 500. 16-16 the record. And a double play by Micheletti Jr. finishes this one off.
Just a tough game overall for Orleans. You know, you start Evan Truitt, somebody who you should have good confidence in, has great command of his stuff, pounds the fastball with so much confidence, gets a lot of weak contact. It wasn't Truitt's day, probably his worst start of the summer. Didn't get help from the defense around him. Ended up giving up 3 earned runs in 4 innings pitched, 6 hits. Wasn't the free passes that hurt him. Chatham just burned him a bit early on. And any offense never kicked it into gear for Orleans. You know, you have good individual performances, right? I mean, each of the 3 guys at the top of your order all had multiple hits. Joe Oyama, his first home run of the year. Justin Rubin and Jack Penny came up in solid spots. Didn't get anything out of the bottom of your order. No hits from Stallman, Hunter, King, and somebody who came off the bench in Trimble. Just a tough one. You look to flush it. Now the goal is game 2 is a must-win, in my opinion, if you want to just make sure that this doesn't spiral out of control for the Crew. 2 losses in a row is fine, but to lose 2 in a row against a team that sits at the bottom of your division, that's not ideal. So Orleans, with Grayson Carter on the mound, just needs to bounce back.
Game 2 will start at 6:15, but just touching on your point, Ian, the bottom 4 of this order, whether it be Casey or Trimble, went 0 for 12. Check that, 6:30 will be the start to game 2, so about an hour between games here at Eldredge. Tune in, 6:30 for game 2 between these 2 teams. Final score, Chatham winning 6-3. Different link on the YouTube, but tune in, Chatham, Orleans, game 2, 6:30. We'll be back here on the Birds Broadcast Network for that game.